Chair Walker.
All righty, welcome to the City of Brisbane's Open Space and Ecology Committee meeting for May 27th, 2026. And do we have, we just jump right into the roll call, or, all right. So what do we need to do about the remote?
So we have a member, Aaron Becker, requested to attend this evening remotely under the emergency circumstances provision. And so we just need to note that for the record. We will need to take roll call votes if we have any voting items this evening. And Aaron, we do need to know if there is anyone over the age of 18 in the room with you, and if so, the nature of the relationship.
There is no one in the room or home with me.
Great, thank you.
Was that except the cat?
You got it, except the cat.
Nice. Say hi to the cat. All right, so I guess we'll do the roll call. Committee member Atapatu.
Present.
All right, committee member Becker.
Here.
All righty, committee member Carney.
Present.
All right, hello and welcome. Jason's not here. Committee member Salmon.
Here.
And Vice Chair Rogers.
Here.
All right, and I am Anthony Walker. I'm here. Hello. Welcome, everyone. All right.
Before we move forward, since we do have a new member, perhaps we want to take a moment to do some brief introductions. So maybe just committee members, how long you've been on the committee, and any other details about your work on the committee, or why you're joined, or anything of that sort, other roles that you might have.
Oh my. All right.
Okay, don't be intimidated by that. Just give her a little context of yourself.
I'm Rohendra Atapatu. I've just joined a year ago. I've been in Brisbane 5 years now, and I work as a sustainability and energy manager. And not obviously, but I'm very interested in the environment and how Brisbane fits in the big picture. And I've been learning a lot while I'm here. So thank you.
I'm Michelle Salmon. I grew up here in Brisbane. So did my mom. And I've been on open space and ecology, I think 15 years now, something like that. A long time. I'm the longest sitting member at this point. And I'm also serve on San Bruno Mountain Watch's board of directors. I have a degree in biology with emphasis in botany and ecology, although I worked most of my career in marketing. But I love our town and I love our mountain, and I want it to be safe and continue to. Also marched in Earth Day in 1970, and we still haven't gotten anywhere with that. So yeah, the work's never done.
And I'm Anthony Walker. I'm, let's see, is it year 2?
3?
3? I
I
don't
think
know.
it's 3.
I think
Yeah.
it might be 3.
It is 3.
Time is timey-wimey. I am a product designer by day, energy nerd by night. Yeah, hoping to make a dent in things. Yeah, glad to have you. Welcome.
I'm Mary Rogers. This is my 9th year. My background, I was in biotech for many, many, many years on the finance side. Actually, Michelle got me to join OSEC and learned a lot. There's a lot of things going on. We have some big projects that we need to corral. And we're here to make the community better, safer. Yeah. So welcome.
Yeah.
Yes, please. And we didn't give you a proper tutorial. You do need to push the button to turn your mic on and make sure you sit relatively close.
Okay, I gotta get a little closer. All right, there we go. Hello, everyone. I'm Hannah. I'm so happy to be here. Clearly, this is my first day at OSEC, but excited to learn all the ins and outs of, city planning, how that has an impact on our community. I have a background actually teaching agriculture, science, and natural resources at Half Moon Bay High School. And then I actually pivoted over to be a biological consultant. So I help a lot of developments within the San Francisco Bay Area remain in environmental compliance via CEQA, permitting, all that fun stuff, surveying. And then I also am a certified arborist. So also kind of hoping to expand our community's tree canopy and really support our urban forestry. Yeah. So happy to be here.
Excellent. Well, we've got stuff going on with the tree canopy, so you're in good company, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
We got trees.
That's a passion project.
Yeah.
Aaron?
All righty, excellent.
I move we adopt.
Aaron, we're yes, Aaron.
Yeah.
Yes,
Hi.
sorry. You're a little window off in the corner. I almost missed you. Apologize.
No problem. It's hard to remember that the Zoom meeting's happening. I'm Erin Becker. I have been on OSEC. I was going to say 3 years, but if Anthony's been on for 3 years, I'm probably at 5. It's been a while. So yeah, like Mary said, we've been working really hard on a lot of documents. It sounds like Hannah will have some expertise with the quarry and the Baylands draft environmental impact reports. And now the final for the Baylands is out and the specific plan. So all of that work. And then Adrian mentioned stuff we're proud of. When I was chair, I was able to help with my committee members, Michelle and Barbara, get the dark skies ordinance to a place that we could pass it, which is pretty great. So we did that. And then also worked with Jason, who's not here today, wrapping up the invasives ordinance, which is part of our regulations, which is great. That's it. Thank you.
I move we adopt the agenda.
All right. Oh, that sounds like a plan.
Second?
Do we have a second? Yeah, anybody?
I'll
Don't be shy.
second.
Don't be
I'll
shy.
second.
Today's agenda, yes, I do. I thought last week's, because I wasn't here, I'm not going to approve that.
Okay, great. So, with that one. do
Roll
we
call
need to-
vote. Do
we
you
need
want
do the roll-
us to?
We need to do the roll call vote,
Yes,
right?
please.
Okay. So,
Oh, I thought we did that. We did the roll call vote.
Vote. Everyone needs to say aye individually.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
because
Yeah.
we've got one
For the
remote, right?
agenda,
So we gotta-
passing the agenda.
yeah.
Got
Yes.
it, got it.
Roll
Sorry.
call vote for all the things. Okay, so committee member Atapatu.
Aye.
All right. Committee member Becker.
Aye.
All righty. Committee member Carney.
Aye.
All righty. Committee member Salmon.
Aye.
All right. And Vice Chair Rogers.
Aye.
All right. And Anthony Walker, I will be an aye as well. Sounds good. All right. So all adopted. Now, moving on to oral communications.
So I was thinking we had this as announcements on our agenda, but I think this is where I'm going to go ahead and do a quick announcement because that's what I thought that we had. So as has already been noted, the Baylands final EIR report was released. You will note that we do not have the Baylands on our agenda this evening, so we cannot have any kind of substantive discussion. But I did want to highlight the process moving forward as I know it at this point, and we can briefly discuss how we can work towards continued commenting from OSEC as a body in that process, if desired, assuming that's desired. So with a final EIR, there is not a kind of formal comment period the same way there is with the draft EIR. As individuals in the community, you are certainly welcome to make comments as individuals through that public process. And if the committee as a body wishes to continue to comment as a group, you can also do that. It will just be submitted as a kind of public correspondence ahead of the Planning Commission's hearing or the council's hearings when they come up. So You are certainly encouraged to do so as individuals to the extent you have your own individual kind of things that you want to put forward or try to collaborate as a committee. The timeline on the Planning Commission hearing is a pretty quick turnaround. So right now, there are workshops tomorrow and on June 11th. Those workshops, as I understand it, are intended to be informational, so they are not necessarily the time to put in your public comments. That's at the June 25th Planning Commission hearing. So if the group does want to submit a letter or comments that someone goes to read as a public comment as a representative of OSEC, that would be the time that you would be aiming for to do that. Fortunately, our OSEC meeting for June was moved up to June 17th because of Dolores's and I planned travel. So we will have an opportunity to kind of review and approve anything at that point in time if assuming the group wants to do that. Our recommendation would be that tonight during your subcommittee item that you assign an ad hoc subcommittee to work on those group comments. That would mean there would be 3 of you who could be working on those comments as a subcommittee outside of your OSEC meetings, and then we would need to have those comments. Staff would need to have that document in time to post it with the June 17th meeting materials. That posting is generally done the Friday before a meeting, which makes it June 12th. And that second hearing is June 11th. So we will need to work closely to make sure that we can, get that all done. But I think we can make it happen. And I guess the other kind of comment, so we've got those workshops, the OSEC meeting, the Planning Commission hearing on June 25th, and then council hearing in the fall. And as I don't believe they've made any dates public yet in terms of when exactly those council meeting hearings will take place, but we're hearing fall. And I guess the last thing I would say is that I think I would encourage for these hearings a focus on anything that's new or unaddressed. So you've already put in extensive comments. You don't necessarily need to rehash those. If they were not addressed substantially to your liking, then you can, comment on that, but there's no need to kind of go back over the ground we've already trod. Yes, Mary?
Is there a red line copy by any chance?
Yeah.
There is? Okay.
Yes, those documents are all available on the city website if you go to the Baylands section of the city
Okay.
website.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
I believe they're also available in paper for perusal here and at the library.
I believe you are correct. Yeah, Aaron?
Sorry. You mentioned the Baylands final EIR. Do you have, is the process the same for the specific plan? Because that's a different author, right?
It is a different author, but yes, thank you for calling that out. Both the final EIR and specific plan, updated specific plan, are available. The specific plan is a document produced by the developer, and the EIR are consultants hired by the city to develop.
Are they on the same timeline?
I believe so. I have not heard otherwise.
Yeah, released at the same time. It does seem that way.
That's kind of
Yep.
a load.
How can that be?
It's
Yeah, I
It's a
don't
lot.
understand how that can be.
Doesn't make sense.
Can't answer any of that,
Okay.
guys. Literally not my department. I hate to use that, but also I'm just back and trying to catch up myself. So that's what I know at this point in time.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much for that recap. Really appreciate it. One thing, what is it? The meeting tomorrow,
There's a planning commission workshop
a
tomorrow.
workshop, right? Do we know where that is?
I
I saw it in the
believe
blast
is-
and it said when, but not where.
I believe it is here, but Dolores is going to confirm for us real fast.
Okay.
I believe it should be here because I confirmed that it would be recorded, and
Okay.
they said it's broadcast, will be broadcast as a typical city meeting. So I would assume it's in here because we've got all the equipment for broadcast here, so you can watch it on the city's website, on the YouTube, watch a recording later.
Great.
Just as you would be able to with any other planning commission or other public meeting.
Who is leading that? Do you know?
The Community Development Department, Planning Commission. I don't know much detail beyond that. They said tomorrow, I believe the workshop tomorrow is focused on the updated specific plan and providing an overview of the updated specific plan.
The meeting will be here in this room tomorrow.
Okay, great. And later on the YouTubes.
Simultaneously on the YouTube.
Oh my goodness.
Live stream.
It's a 21st century technology at work. I love it.
So just to be clear, the hearing on 528 is on the specific plan part, and the hearing on 611 is the FEIR part?
Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
I heard this morning a mention that the workshop tomorrow was focused on the specific plan.
Okay. Thank you.
So I would assume the same as you, but again, I'm not involved in that production.
Okay.
I believe that is what I saw as well, that they were splitting it up that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, shall we proceed?
Sounds great. Yeah, thank you for that. All right, so
Let's see. I move we approve the minutes.
sounds like a plan. All right, do we have a second?
He can't second. He wasn't here.
Oh my,
Yeah, I'll second that.
all righty. And we need to do the roll call thing?
Yes.
All righty. Right. Committee member Atapatu.
I
No, you have to abstain.
Abstain.
Oh, right.
abstain.
I'm sorry, that's my fault. Gotcha. All right. Committee member Becker.
I also have to abstain.
What?
Oh,
We have enough to approve?
Do we? Do we have enough to approve in that case?
Yeah, we do. We have 4.
There'll be 3. No, because Hannah wasn't here either.
Yeah.
Was not here.
3.
Maybe we don't.
We have 3.
Wait. I think that we,
You do not, you have exactly half of the,
Oh, no.
I don't know that we can pass them today.
Oh, no.
really? 3?
Jason comes
I'm gonna vote we go through the vote because it might be that if Rohinder and I both abstain, that it subtracts. Does that happen?
I'm not certain. Let's go through the motion, and if we need to put it on your agenda again next month, we will. We will confirm with the city clerk if
Okay.
you can pass with 3 out of 6.
So there's a second? Yeah, Mary second.
Okay, and then we have to go, committee member
Salmon, yes.
Okay. Committee member Rogers?
Yes.
All righty, and I'm an aye, and we'll see how that goes, I suppose. Okay.
And so for the record, Atapatu, Becker, and Carney are abstaining.
Right.
Okay.
That was fun. All right.
What fun we're having tonight, guys.
That's right.
Next comes really fun stuff.
Next comes the really fun stuff. Thank you, gentlemen, for your patience. So I'm going to ask Jordan Bowe from Renew SF Bay to come up to the podium for his presentation. And Jordan, I have your slides here, so I will pull them up and you just let me know. Oops, sorry. You just let me know when you want me to advance your slides.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Thank you for your time today. My name is Jordan Bowe, and I'm here on behalf of Renew SF Bay and our project collaborators. And we're here for the second time, actually. About 6 months ago, we came and made an introduction, and we asked for compost for a project, and we've been able to get that, but not able to get approval for the project. So I think this time we're here to provide a complete background of what we're trying to achieve and why it's important that we move forward with it. Anyway, so we appreciate OSEC's role as an advisory body to the Brisbane City Council. And today we are respectfully requesting your review of our restoration proposal and your consideration of a recommendation to the City Council to support and approve this pilot project. This project represents a collaborative, community-driven effort to restore shoreline habitat, improve ecological resilience, and support Brisbane's long-term sea level rise adaptation goals through practical nature-based solutions. Next slide. Brisbane's shoreline is facing increasing pressure from erosion, habitat degradation, invasive species, and rising sea levels. Areas surrounding the Brisbane Marina and Lagoon are currently dominated by invasive ice plant and other non-native species that suppress biodiversity and provide limited ecological benefit. At the same time, the city is actively preparing for long-term climate adaptation and shoreline resilience challenges. This project offers an opportunity to begin implementing small-scale, low-cost restoration strategies that work with nature rather than against it. Instead of relying exclusively on hard infrastructure, this project focuses on living systems that can stabilize shorelines, improve habitat, and strengthen ecological resilience over time. Next. A living shoreline is a nature-based alternative to traditional shoreline infrastructure, such as seawalls or riprap. Rather than resisting natural coastal processes, living shorelines work with them. This approach integrates native coastal vegetation, oyster restoration systems, eelgrass habitat, saltgrass restoration, natural sediment stabilization. Together, these systems help reduce erosion, improve water quality, increase biodiversity, stabilize shoreline conditions, create resilient coastal habitat. Living shorelines are adaptive systems that become stronger over time through ecological interaction and natural growth. Next slide, please. The proposed restoration work focuses on several strategic shoreline locations. These include restoration plots adjacent to the Brisbane Marina Harbour Master Office, the south side of Brisbane Lagoon, Brisbane shell beaches on the northern and southern shoreline shell mound areas that I call the Sierra Point shell mounds and the San Francisco Candlestick Obelisk shell mounds. These sites were selected because they offer opportunities for ecological restoration while also supporting broader shoreline adaptation goals. Several of these locations already contain remnant native habitat features and suitable restoration conditions. Next slide. One of the guiding principles behind this project is permaculture, learning to work with nature rather than against it. Permaculture focuses on observing natural systems, integrating diverse ecological elements, and adapting through long-term stewardship. We believe restoration is strongest when community members become active participants in caring for their environment. This project is not simply about planting vegetation. It is about building long-term ecological awareness, stewardship, and community resilience. We are inviting volunteers, students, educators, scientists, and residents to help design, monitor, and care for these restoration areas together. Next slide. One of the first restoration components is native saltgrass transplantation. Saltgrass plays a very important ecological role because it stabilizes shoreline soils, increases salt marsh resilience, supports native habitat restoration, and helps buffer shoreline erosion. We have already seen successful saltgrass growth at Heron's Head Park, which gives us confidence that similar restoration methods may be successful here in Brisbane. Replacing invasive ice plant with native saltgrass also creates opportunities to improve biodiversity while restoring more functional shoreline habitat. Next slide, please. Another major component of this project involves eelgrass restoration. Eelgrass is an underwater marine plant in the subtidal zone that provides major ecological benefits. It helps stabilize underwater sediment, improve water quality, provide habitat for fish and marine species, support near shore ecological health. Combined with upper shoreline saltgrass restoration and oyster reef restoration, these systems can help begin reconnecting ecological functions from the shoreline into the shallow bay environment. Together, they create stronger and more resilient coastal habitat systems. Next. We are also requesting OSEC's consideration of restoration support for California sea blight, or Sueda californica. California sea blight is a federally listed endangered species that historically occurred within San Francisco Bay, but was extirpated from this region in the 60s. We are proposing restoration efforts at 3 shell mound restoration locations: the south side of Brisbane Lagoon, the northern Brisbane Bay shoreline, and the southern Brisbane Bay shoreline. This restoration work would be held in collaboration with Literacy for Environmental Justice, San Francisco State volunteers, and community partners. The selected shell mound locations provide sandy, well-drained habitat conditions that may be highly suitable for long-term sea blight establishment. This restoration could also improve habitat connectivity for protected species, including the Ridgway's rail and salt marsh harvested mouse. Next slide. Restoration work in San Francisco Bay is not easy. Nearly 90% of the bay's historical tidal marsh habitat has been lost or degraded due to urbanization, shoreline modification, and historical development. Establishing stable populations of endangered native species like sea blight remains challenging. However, recent science suggests that shell mounds in sandy shoreline areas, such as portions of the Brisbane shoreline, may provide promising restoration conditions. This project creates an opportunity to contribute to habitat restoration, regional species recovery, ecological resilience, and long-term shoreline adaptation. Next slide. One of the strengths of this proposal is that it is highly collaborative. This project brings together nonprofits, educators, scientists, volunteer, students, and community organizations. This collaboration helps reduce potential costs to the city, expand public education and volunteer engagement, increase community stewardship, support monitoring and ecological data collection, build broader public awareness of shoreline resilience issues. We see this as both an environmental restoration project and a community building project. Next slide. To ensure the project remains manageable, adaptive, and scientifically informed, implementation would occur in phases. Step 1 includes ice plant removal, native plant habitat preparation, initial restoration planning. Step 2 includes saltgrass and eelgrass integration, oyster restoration coordination. Step 3 includes California sea blight restoration, monitoring, and adaptive management. Step 4 focuses on long-term stewardship, data collection, potential project expansion. This phased approach allows the city and project partners to evaluate progress carefully and adapt as conditions occur. Next slide. This project aligns closely with many of Brisbane's existing priorities. These include climate resilience, habitat restoration, shoreline adaptation, community stewardship, cost-effective ecological restoration. To help support coordination and transparency, we are also proposing the formation of a collaborative subcommittee by the City of Brisbane. The purpose of this group would be to coordinate between community organizations, support communications with regulatory agencies, align restoration work with sea level rise adaptation planning, facilitate collaboration between city departments and volunteers. Next slide. So tonight, we respectfully request that OSEC review the proposed restoration plan, recommend that City Council, the Brisbane City Council, approve the project, and recommend the formation of a coordination subcommittee. We deeply appreciate your consideration and the opportunity to present this proposal. Next slide. Ultimately, this project is about creating a stronger, healthier, and more resilient Brisbane shoreline. It combines ecological restoration, climate adaptation, scientific collaboration, and community stewardship. We believe Brisbane has an opportunity to become a model for practical, community-driven shoreline resilience. We appreciate your consideration, welcome your feedback, and hope to earn your recommendation to bring this project forward to the Brisbane City Council. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you very much for that presentation. Yeah, does anybody have any questions?
Hi. I just wanted to touch on when you were going through the various phases and the follow-up phase after we finish all of the restoration efforts. Was there any, we address like scientific collection. A part of that, what I assume is monitoring, like monitoring plant cover and actual like success of the establishment of these ecosystems that you have restored?
Yeah, this, there's science collection, data collection all along. From beginning in terms of where we are to where we want to go and what actually happens. Yes. So, and in this case, we're starting small. Since our first proposal, One Shoreline has adopted the Brisbane Living Shoreline Project as one of their projects. Are you guys aware of their work? And we, as a citizen committee, have not been able to get information from them. And that's one of the reasons why we're asking for this subcommittee to be able to work together, to work collaboratively. They had a test plates for oyster spat collection by the Smithsonian Smithsonian Institute this past 6 months. And we're awaiting to hear what the results are and what the next steps are and how we can continue to proceed with that. I understand they got some funding, but I don't know for what and what they're doing with it. But within those plans, there will be data collection for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, no, thank you. Just coming from a biological perspective, I always like to recommend qualitative and quantitative data to carry over the years, and that is a way to really show that long-term progress and to therefore build on it in future years. And it sounds like y'all are going already in that direction, so that's
Sure.
fantastic.
No, that's okay, but I'd like to introduce Julio, who is the director of the Wild Oyster Project here, and perhaps he has something to say about that. I've been trying to get a test-based going at the Brisbane Pier, and I've been waiting for permission to do that, but
Talking to the microphone.
maybe you have something to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is sort of a standard process when you do a restoration project of a monitoring being attached to that, and also, yeah, being part of the budget initially as well. And yeah, I would hope that the specifics of all of that are what comes out of this process that we're proposing.
Awesome, thanks.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has pretty good recommendations on both local monitoring of the organisms themselves to see what's going on with them, and also to map out success. So NOAA has some guidelines which we hope to learn from.
So it sounds like One Shoreline, you're waiting to find, they're the bottleneck right now, it sounds like. You're waiting for information from them to
Well,
progress, or?
rather than having all these different organizations and groups trying to put forward for eelgrass, oyster, and native plant restoration, and applying for grants from disparate locations, One Shoreline has initiated that process for Brisbane eelgrass and oyster restoration. And so for me, I've accepted the fact that they're the right agency to move forward with the project. But I don't know that Brisbane is aware of and committed to the same type of progress with them. You know, One Shoreline has their mandate, the city of Brisbane has their mandate, and I'm trying to, as a citizen group, align those mandates or align the work.
Got it.
So that we have effective and efficient growth on this project.
Got it. So it sounds like One Shoreline would likely need approval from the city of Brisbane, right? For any sort of project that they're doing
Yeah, I
on
think they're-
Brisbane land,
In collaboration, yeah.
right? Okay.
And so that's my concern, that
Yeah.
there isn't good
We don't,
communication.
you don't know, right?
I
That-
don't
that's
know,
the-
yeah.
That's, okay.
And that for me, I'm hoping that the OSAC makes the recommendation to the city to create a subcommittee to monitor and continue to advocate for a Brisbane Living Shoreline project and utilizing all the different resources available.
Got it.
Can
That's
I-
really the main thing that I'm asking for, in addition to permission to do this little garden work that
Can I chime in here? Because I think I'm a little, I don't think this presentation is quite what we expected. I thought we were talking specifically about the Marina Garden project, and it sounds like you have a much broader ask than I think I understood originally. So there is work with One Shoreline. That is something that staff is involved in. I am just getting up to speed with it, so I don't know a lot of details, and which details I can share here or what's already been made public. But I assure you that staff is involved in working with One Shoreline on the Brisbane Living Shoreline project, and there will be public involvement in that. And my understanding is that they are well aware of your projects and recommendations as well. As far as how this recommendation needs to move forward, I thought we were coming in here to talk about a Marina Garden, so I was going to let you know that we did not need council approval for the Marina Garden portion of the project, because that portion is on city property above the water line, so it's, you know, more or less a landscaping project. So city staff would, you know, generally be able to do a project like that without going to council. We wanted to provide visibility to OSEC for that project, and so and to the public. And so I think we were prepared to say, let's move forward with that. If you want to go ahead with getting OSEC recommendation on the other pieces, I think we would need to find out what process is needed to move forward with the other pieces.
Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, we put forward a request to Moz when he just started, and he deferred that decision to OSAC. So that's why and then when I talked to Michelle said OSAC didn't have the
Authority.
authority to approve that. and it would have to go to city council, which is why I did this. But you're saying otherwise.
I'm saying, I think there were some wires crossed about what the actual ask was. So at least for me, because I thought the ask was just focused on the Marina Garden,
That
not
is-
all the other pieces of the project.
Was the second one. I put the two together. My fault for that.
May I?
Yes, please.
Okay. So this has been a long-term vision from Jordan to do the shoreline restoration. And I've been in many conversations with him and others about it. And I don't know if all of you are aware, but San Bruno Mountain Watch is already working with one shoreline with the where Colma Creek meets the bay. So that's a project that's already in process. And so when Jordan first talked about this, it was there was the big vision, and then there was the immediate, let's test this and make sure that it works part of it. And the make sure that it works part of it is maybe where you're getting the idea of the community garden, because the original plan was to take the two sections next to the Harbor Masters building, rip out the ice plant, and let's see if we can do this small part before we take a bigger bite and a bigger bite. And what Jordan is presenting here is more of like the entire plan, because things have moved on in the last, this has been years already in the making. And so Jordan often comes and asks advice about what to do. And I said, well, you should really, contact the city and the city engineer. And Maz referred him back to us. And the way that I see it is that OSEC's role in this would be as a conduit to channel the different aspects of this, bring in the community groups, make sure everything's in line with the city. I've sat in on many of the sea level rise discussions, and I guess when I look at something like this, it's like, what's the worst case scenario? What's the worst thing that could happen? Well, it fails, and we have to replant ice plant or something, And then from there, everything else is a step up from where we are right now and the urgency of sea level that we're facing. And it was pretty stunning for me in December during the king tides to go down there and see over a foot, this much standing water in the lower parking lot with cars, wheels all the way up to the top of the tires, and not to be able to even access the restrooms. It was pretty outright. It was a combination of things of the tide and the wind and the, whatever. But the urgency is upon us. And we can't take a big bite at one time. We have to take little bites to chew them and move forward to make sure everything works. And when you were talking about testing and scientific and everything like that, one of the things I'm hoping is that we will reinforce the fact that oysters help clean up toxic waste. And we have a lot of toxic waste. And that we'll be sampling plant material to see how much of that is picking up toxins that we need to get out of the system. And also to see how resilient it is in the type of wind that like what we've had today, the type of storms, the type of king tides. There's a full moon on Sunday, so you can watch for that. And so this is a step along the way. And I actually really believe in this project. I think that, and I'm using my experience in the last 20 years on Mountain Watch, where we started out tiny. And the things that we're doing now that we are growing and doing more of, and the things that even if you make a tiny difference, down the road, you can still see the work that was done and how much it would help to be able to successfully prove. At one point, there was a people who were planting oysters down at Oyster Point. Dan Dilworth worked on that project, and they did very well with it, but it didn't have a lot of legs to run forward. Well, now with sea level rise becoming more and more intense and could inundate us a lot sooner than we think, I don't think that we should be really hesitating much. And so whatever role the city wants us to play and one shoreline wants us to play in creating a conduit to bring everybody together to work on this project and take these bites and make them work until we can digest more and more of it, I'm all for it. Because what's the alternative? What's the worst that can happen? So that's where I'm at with it. And I see our role as not necessarily being out there and doing, of course we would do it, but more of being a conduit and a focal point and an advocate, because the city has a lot on their plate right now, and so does OSEC. But this is just one more thing that really moves us forward, because this involves the Baylands as well. This involves Sierra Point Marina. This involves the mountain, where the mountain meets the water. So, and I think that Jordan has worked long and hard and with a lot of experts to really choose the areas that we want to start working in and where we want to expand to. And I agree with that from my experience of living here all my life and seeing the changes that have happened. And one of the reasons I'm not in Jordan's group is because I sit on OSEC and I'm already on San Bruno Mountain Watch. So, you know, it would just be more than I would explode my brain at that point. But I think we should, you know, at least give a show of support and be willing to be the conduit between these disparate people and groups and methods that they've brought together and the disparate resources that we have as a city, and do it. And the advantage of this is we have a lot of financial responsibilities that are already being poured into sea level rise and for the lagoon, because the lagoon, most of the water coming down from Brisbane goes through our lagoon. And it's a big, serious problem of what we're going to do about that, because the capacity of the lagoon can't hold it all before it goes out, you know. Well, this is just another part of this whole big plan to save the planet. So, you know, I think that we should do everything we can to move forward with this and be the conduit.
So I didn't mean to make it sound
Yeah.
like I was not
No,
supportive.
I understand, Adrian. You are catching up to a lot of stuff.
I think the question for me is mostly in what the ask is and how we move it forward to fit in with the other processes that are already happening. So I do think with OSEC's support and recommendation that we can move forward with that first step. I think where the other sites go and whether we can approve those, or those need to go to council, or those need to go to some other regulatory body. You know, I don't know, planting eelgrass, if we can do that without having BCDC or someone else involved. That's not my area of expertise. I'm sure you've looked into it, but I think I would just be hesitant to say we can approve all of those other sites right now, because that's not what the staff discussion about what we were expecting to be covering tonight was.
So just to clarify, the first ask is, yes, that we take saltgrass from the southern part of the lagoon, existing saltgrass sites, and transplant to the Marina Harbor.
And so that's your Marina Gardens
Gardens,
proposal.
yeah.
And
So-
that's where we were prepared to say, yes,
Yeah,
that is something that
perfect.
does not need to go to council for approval.
Okay, so that's number one. And then number two is on the Sierra Point Shell Mound area. There's also a secondary site of eelgrass existing that we would like to transplant to the Marina Gardens.
That's the curve where they've
Yeah.
just finished the Genesis.
Over by the Genesis building.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct,
Yeah.
correct.
Off the trail.
Now-
Yeah.
Is
It's
that-
on the map.
Is that Brisbane property, or is that Caltrain property?
I can't answer that
I-
off the top of my head. We'll need to confirm.
Pretty sure it's Brisbane, but I'm not absolutely 100% positive, because it's far enough away from the rail tracks that the rail tracks are on the other side of.
No, not Caltrain, Caltrans. It
Oh,
potentially is
Caltrans.
Caltrans, the highway.
Oh,
Because it's near
yeah.
the 101.
So, but you know where the shell mounds are there?
yeah.
Right there, there's a patch that we'd like to just take some of that and transplant.
We should be able to find that out pretty quickly, going back and looking at the Genesis project.
And
Yeah, I think that's something that we can confirm at the staff level and work with your team on.
And that would be good because that whole wetland all the way back upstream from that little creek there is where restoration needs to occur. And that's the big project that I'd like to step by step move forward to doing on a community basis.
Yeah.
Erin
So-
has had her hand raised for a couple of minutes, I think
yeah.
at least. So I'm like trying to get Erin in.
Actually, kind of pertinent to this conversation. So the joy of being at home means that I can Google stuff in the background when nobody's looking. And I didn't actually know what One Shoreline was. I wondered if that was some corporate group, but it turns out it is a San Mateo County group. It's their flood resilience, and I should have left it on my phone, but sea level rise. So
Yeah.
at least it's two governments working together. That is going to be, I think, an easier thing to negotiate than government and consultants or industry. But the one question I had is one of your asks was talking about coordinating a subcommittee. And I wasn't sure at what level that was. Would that be a subcommittee under OSEC or more like a committee that's at the same level of OSEC and then reports to city council?
I think that's something for city council to decide how important it is to the city to coordinate all these different efforts. I heard mention of, you had an invasive program going already. You have the Baylands, a big project going. All of it is related. And money's being spent, time, energy is being spent, and I think there needs to be a coordinated effort that we have these different projects work with each other and not against each other, or you know, in other words, if we start to do this transplanting of the sea blight on the lagoon side, for instance, and you guys decide to do something with the lagoon in terms of either closing it off or expanding it, whatever, I mean, you know, then our efforts would be wasted, you know?
No, they wouldn't.
I don't know
Because
that.
you would have already transplanted plants and found out that it was viable, and your efforts might actually have to be redoubled, because if they did that, the saltgrass would have to go somewhere, because
Yeah.
it wouldn't survive in fresh water that way.
Well,
Maybe, I don't know, saltgrass for sure, but
that
so
was one of
so
the
this
slides.
is how it all works
saltgrass
together,
versus yellowgrass.
you know,
Yeah.
and so I guess if I want to jump to the chase, what I think we should do, and when you're talking about subcommittees, on OSEC, we have various subcommittees that work on specific projects and then bring it back to the group and move forward. And I could see us having a subcommittee on the initial bite of the Marina Garden, with that also being, you know, like a large, you know, that we would also advocate for a bigger role going forward and being the conduit to this whole project.
For me, the Brisbane Living Shoreline Project involves three main components: the eelgrass, the oyster, and then the native plants. Native plants is what I know least about myself, but is something that we can do now. We'll start with now. Whereas with the oyster and the eelgrass, there needs to be continued work on it, but it's not something we can get volunteers to do anything yet. But all three of those components, they play a role with each other, and the design and the implementation needs to be coordinated with the other sea level rise adaptation plans and programs that are in place that I know nothing about. And I just know what I'd like to see happening on the shoreline and the intertidal for the eelgrass and oyster restoration. But I have no way to put forward those things, and I have to wait for someone like One Shoreline to put it forward, but which is, you know, I don't know what One Shoreline's complete agenda is or how they intend to go about it, and I'd like to know more. But, you know, I feel I need to work through the city to do that.
Yeah.
Because I'm speaking for the city. I'm trying to help the city address these issues on how to do it.
Plus, there was mention, I think, in the parcel R, the possibility of the lower part being part of the project. I don't know. I think that's why
Here's a good
Moss was
example,
interested.
the eelgrass restoration. Historically, it's been divers taking seedlings of eelgrass and planting them one by one. That's expensive, time-consuming. In Long Island, they developed a project, a simple method of gluing eelgrass seeds onto the back of the clams, and then just dispersing the clams back in, and the clams would anchor the eelgrass. And it's cheap, it's fast, and it's effective. Oyster shells, you know, there's many different ways to create a reef. And traditionally or historically, it's been oyster balls, which are expensive, heavy, and difficult to use. And I think there's better methods. Logs in bags is what I would propose. Simplest method is just just dispersing the shells, you know. But in either case, these are low-cost, effective ways to achieve the goals. And I think, you know, I'm an advocate for that, and I think the city of Brisbane can move forward without having to depend on expensive or, you know, government funding and be able to accomplish things. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Adrian, what can we move forward with now?
The Marina Gardens and
We can move forward with the Marina Gardens. I apologize. I've been trying to loop in some department heads to see if I could come up with quick answers about what action should be taken tonight. One recommendation might be potentially an OSEC ad hoc subcommittee to work with you on moving your proposals forward. And we could then determine which aspects need to move forward for council recommendation and which do not, that can just be approved by OSEC or by staff. So we could potentially try that as a starting place. That way we can work through some of the ins and outs of how this project works with the work that One Shoreline is doing, and
yeah, step by step.
and kind of keep that moving
I
in
would
that
love
way.
I would love that. I would love if we could start with, okay, we can transplant some salt grass from the lagoon side over to the marina, take out ice plant, get whatever help we can from the city.
Volunteers too.
Yeah. And
Mary?
Can we, I know that it's probably going to take time to get all, One Shoreline together with the city, blah, blah. But we have habitat restoration. Would we be able to help Jordan by using our habitat restoration as the next project to help him with the eelgrass and
would love
removal
that.
of the ice plant? I mean, it's coming up, it's on our calendar.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I think we can do that, right?
That's
So,
moving pretty fast.
But
I
that's-
mean,
but
you
that's
want an
the-
answer, I
But
get
that's the
it,
type
yeah.
of
Yeah.
coordination
Yeah.
that I'm looking for,
Yeah.
because I don't know all the different things that the city's doing, and the city doesn't know all the things that need to be done or
And then that
can be
helps
done.
us get some time to coordinate with what needs to be done. At least
Okay.
we can get this on the books and help you out. I'm just throwing it out there as a suggestion, but,
I don't know. I think we need to do what Adrian said first, is form a subcommittee.
Yeah.
Didn't we have something already very important planned for habitat restoration this time, didn't we?
We were going to talk about that under, I think it's our next agenda item.
But we
So,
should definitely do this part.
I think we should do this part. I think we should go ahead and take the action that we want to take tonight, and that might be forming a subcommittee to work with Jordan and staff on moving these ideas forward, moving forward with the Marina Garden portion as soon as we can coordinate that. And then I don't know if I would say that should be our next Habitat event because we have some other ideas for that, but certainly trying to see if we can get something on the calendar soon.
Yeah. And we might be able to get something on the calendar by the end of summer too, or coastal cleanup day. Woo.
Yeah, no.
Or the next day after.
So I think if that is the action that you want to take, a committee member would need to make a motion to do that.
Before-
and-
Before somebody. does
sorry.
that- No, it's fine. So I was gonna add to that, on the One Shoreline website, it says the project team will also regularly present to Brisbane Sea Level Rise Subcommittee, Planning Commission, and Open Space and Ecology Committee.
Yes.
I'm wondering if we could reach out to them and let them know we're ready.
They did present to us on the sea level rise plan before they did it at the library.
So there are actually two separate projects. So what
Yes.
the lagoon sea level rise study is actually a separate thing than the One Shoreline Brisbane Living Shoreline project.
Yep.
Which I think is what Jordan's referring to. What Aaron is mentioning is on their website. And Maz, Public Works Director, and I are involved in that. Maz has been involved in that all along. I'm trying to get up to speed. So I would have more to say on that probably in a couple of weeks, if not next meeting. And we can, work through that. But yes, they do intend to have a very significant public process as part of that project, as I understand.
Yep. And then the other thing I wanted to say is I love the idea of using a upcoming Habitat Restoration Day for doing the volunteer work for planting. The one thing that I kind of want to, plant in Jordan's ear is that it's going to be, 20 to 40 people. So we have to be really ready with, what weeds are we going to be pulling? What are we going to be planting? And also what time of year does it make the most sense to be planting? So if the next one doesn't make sense, we should do it in an upcoming one after that. But those are things worth thinking about.
I have Brian's approval to do whatever around the yacht club also, just for as a separate site. But so it would also be good to confirm the ownership of the Sierra Point Shell Mound area. Whether
We can look into that.
I believe it's Caltrans. And in the end, also I want to work with the Bay Trail MTS for educational signage that runs along that shoreline or that beachhead. And all the way down through the marina, that we can do a lot of educational and raising awareness for not just oysters, eelgrass, and plants, but for the birds and really for the marina itself. What does the marina need to operate as a community property?
Well, I make a motion, we take the first bite and form the ad hoc subcommittee and get it approved on our work plan by our council liaisons and go from there.
Yeah, that would be great, because here, as a council or as a committee, you're not even aware of the One Shoreline.
We
And
are.
Well, Erin wasn't.
Oh, she missed that meeting.
But anyway,
I think.
that's really for
Maybe she
me
was-
the reason to have this subcommittee where we can coordinate the different efforts and programs that are going on, and so that we're working collectively.
Yeah, the city has a lot of moving pieces right now.
and
So we have a motion on the,
Yes,
have a
thank you,
motion?
Jordan.
thank you.
so
Motion
Yeah,
from
do we have
Michelle?
do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, and now I think we need to take roll call vote, yes, so
Yes, please.
Committee Member Atapatu,
Aye, in favor.
all righty. Committee Member Becker,
Aye.
all righty. Committee Member Carney,
Aye.
all right. Committee Member Salmon,
Aye.
all right. And Committee Member Rogers,
Aye.
all right. And I as well.
Great.
Unanimous.
Okay.
So we get two things. We get a subcommittee and we got approval to start on the Marina Gardens. Correct?
Yes.
Yay. Thank you
Yep.
very much.
Okay.
And we will assign the subcommittee members when we get to that item.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank
Thank
you very
you
much
very
for your
much.
presentation, yeah.
Appreciate it, and we'll be talking more.
All right, looking forward to it.
Okay.
We've got a lot of subcommittee appointments today.
Yeah, my
Do you have the subtext on this one, Dolores?
All right. Appoint a representative for the Beautification Subcommittee. The committee has been asked to designate one representative to be a part of a subcommittee, including representatives from OSEC, Parks and Rec, Complete Streets and Safety Committee, and Public Art Advisory Committee to work on this project.
I nominate Mary because she does the most walking around town.
Mike, accept?
I accept to be the
I'm like, I
OSEC
think you're saying
representative
you
for the
accept, but I can
Beautification
barely hear you over
Subcommittee.
here.
I'm already on the David Scully subcommittee, so.
How often do they meet?
I don't know that we know that information yet. They're just forming,
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
as I understand.
Wait, was there anybody else who really, really wanted to do it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Aaron, Rohandra, Anthony.
I'm already on enough of committees,
Okay,
but
well,
that's
there
okay.
you go.
Okay,
I think,
I'm good.
so do we
You
vote
can
on that?
tie it in with the
Probably,
trees.
probably should.
Oh, okay, I move.
Should we vote on? Okay.
I take it back. They don't have a
Wait, what?
I move that we nominate Mary Rogers to be on the
Okay.
Beautification Committee.
All right, do we have a second?
I second.
All righty. Okay, so roll call votes. Committee Member Atapatu,
In favor.
all right. Committee Member Becker, do we have Aaron? Great,
Aye.
okay, okay. Committee Member Carney. All right,
Aye.
excellent. Okay, Committee Member Salmon,
Aye.
all right. Vice Chair Rogers,
Yes, I.
all right, and I'll aye as well.
Okay. On the summer habitat restoration, we were in touch with Ariel at Mountain Watch about timelines and locations, and just wanted to float the suggestions to you. So we are nearly at June, so we are thinking July for a event, and we are looking at July 11th or 18th. Both of those are Saturdays. The 18th is preferred by staff, but either works. So we wanted to see if committee members are aware of any community conflicts or have a preference. And then we also, Ariel recommended going back to Owl Canyon. And he also mentioned the main entrance of San Bruno Mountain Park, that we had done an event there a couple of years ago. Personally, I would suggest we stay within Brisbane and Owl Canyon. When we did try to do the event a couple of years ago at the park entrance, we didn't see quite the turnout that we usually do. So those would be our kind of recommendations, but open to suggestions or input from the committee.
I like the date. July 18th is fine. It's going to be hot. or windy, or both. And I was kind of, I couldn't help but wonder, maybe we should be doing one of the canyons again?
You mean like Firth or Castaños, one of those canyons?
Uh-huh.
We can take a look.
I noticed there's a lot of, there's ivy coming back in various places. I'm just trying to think of something that would be more, a little bit shadier, a little less heat intense.
Have we ever done it along Quarry Road?
Oh, yeah.
Because
We-
that has a decent amount of shade, and there's some good invasives that we could pull. And I know, if I'm not mistaken, I've seen, it must be from Mountain Watch, planting natives along that the vegetation side facing the middle school.
Yeah, actually, there's a group of citizens, including a former Mountain Watch board member, that's been doing some of that. Yeah, Tony Barrios and, yeah. You know, I think Quarry Road's not a bad idea at all, especially sort of ties in with some of the other stuff we've been thinking about. I mean, it certainly can take a lot of people.
We can check that out as an option. I mean, I do agree with the shadier idea.
There's
Could be
been a lot of, they've been digging up a lot of the ivy and weeds and stuff, and there's a lot of piles along Quarry Road that we're trying to get the city to pick up. But there's still a
they
lot-
being the volunteers, the community.
Yeah, or
Okay.
someone, I don't know who picks it up. But there is a lot more to do, and I think Tony Barrios kind of knows where to focus on. If I may, I can reach out to him and see if he's available on the 18th, and maybe he can be part of the whole restoration
Yeah.
event.
Michelle, I'm going to look to you in terms of Mountain Watch's involvement. Is that something that would still be,
Oh, yeah.
Wait,
Do we still get sandwiches?
I don't know. Where do we get sandwiches anymore? Julie's is closed.
So the last sandwiches that Jeff got, he got at Darby Town, so they were really good.
Oh, okay. I'll let Jeff handle that part then. I'm trying to remember where the HCP boundary is. Do we need to?
We've
Doesn't need to.
We've done habitat restoration projects in Brisbane.
Right, I know, but we usually have REL Mountain Watch because of the HCP
Permit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
he's also
I
led
mean,
restoration in
Yeah.
Castaños and Sierra Point Canyon
Yeah,
and
true.
Firth Canyon. And I mean, I think Quarry Road is great idea because, you know, we wanted that PCA grant that we didn't get. And I don't want to give up. I want to keep pushing on that because it is really heavily used by many people in Brisbane. It is a conduit straight to the mountain. And the David Schooley Monument Committee is really looking at the base of Buckeye Canyon, at the entrance to Buckeye Canyon, as a potential place for the monument. So that would fit in with kind of an overall plan. So if Ariel's good with that, I don't see why he wouldn't be. And we could approach it from both ends and work towards the middle.
So would we start at the beginning of Quarry and go how far?
Well, I was thinking we would start at both ends and meet in maybe in the middle. I don't know.
So what?
By where the posts are, you know.
Okay.
and then-
okay.
Like where the ecological preserve starts, right as it bends towards. I think that's kind of, and that makes sense to do a lot of restoration there because I have noticed that the ecosystem has degraded a little bit, and so it is, I think, a good opportunity to, as we were saying, like pull invasives, plant natives with REL. Same thing with working towards the entrance. I think there were a lot of downed trees and actually even flammable fuel.
Yeah.
And that's something that we can also kind of I don't want to say kill two birds with one stone. That sounds grim, but you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
We can be efficient with our time and also even we can make it shadier, plant new trees over towards the entrance. And I like the idea of kind of working on opposite ends, meeting in the middle, dance
Yeah.
party in the middle.
And I also think you'd get a lot more participants from Brisbane, because it's been getting a lot of press with what Trudy and Renee and Paul and Tony have been doing. So I think it would really segue nice into that. And we're so fortunate people come from everywhere to help, but I just think that would be a really good idea.
Sounds great.
One
Would
other
we
thing.
be able to get cleanup, right, if we put the piles, whatever, on the side, the city would be able to come and pick those up, right? Or maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if it would happen that day or if it
Yeah,
would
but-
be, they come back for the piles on Monday morning, but we can certainly work out that detail.
Yes,
Yeah.
please, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay.
they have to take out the bolt
Yeah,
to
yeah,
go get that stuff, but that's a really big advantage.
And Aaron has a raised hand as well.
Oh, sorry.
Thanks. I was going to say that since we're choosing a place that already has kind of a core group of volunteers, it might not hurt to ask them if they've got any big conflicts on the 18th or the 11th. At this point, I actually kind of like the 18th better as well, but
Yeah.
I mean, it would suck if they were all busy.
Yeah. I'll reach out to Tony.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll reach out to Trudy.
Okay, perfect, okay. And I'll just shoot a little email to everybody.
Yeah, keep us in the loop. We'll want to move quickly so that we can get,
Sandwiches.
I'm less concerned about the sandwiches than getting our kind of outreach materials together. And usually we try to get them in the Star, and we've got to have that together by, 15th at least, if not earlier. So, we'll need to move quickly on confirming the date with everybody and date and location so we can get outreach materials together and make sure we have a plan.
Yeah.
Sandwiches is like the last week.
I know. Just kidding. Jeff stresses.
But priorities.
There a run on
Throw out
sandwiches?
one more for you, Adrian. I hate to keep piling on. Once we have a date, we should invite those PCA grant people.
Yes. Yes. Invite those people.
Yes.
Yes,
Which is,
good
awesome
idea.
for
Very
you.
astute, Aaron.
Yes,
Very
yeah.
astute. I love it.
Yes. That's a brilliant. Aaron, you're so brilliant. I love you. Oh, yes. Because you know what? I'm still steamed
Feed
over
them
that.
tequila along the way.
Okay. Uh-oh. Jordan's back.
Okay, we're ready to move on.
Yeah, I think so. All right. So I think that was the last new business, and then we've got the budget and project update.
So I just threw this in here because I am in the process, as you know, of catching up and looking at the budget as we are nearing the end of the fiscal year. You may be familiar with the fact that Brisbane has gone back to 2-year budgets, so we do have budget approved, but there are a number of items that I am requesting to roll over funds from fiscal year 25-26 into 26-27. That is, conversation is just getting started with finance, but since we are here tonight, I wanted to let you guys know some of the things that we've talked in the last few years, really, about moving forward. While I was out, obviously, my colleagues did as much as they could to keep up, but it's been a very busy time, and some of our projects, no one had capacity to take on everything. So public outdoor lighting assessment, that's for our city facilities, looking at dark sky compliance across city facilities and kind of outlining how we're going to make those upgrades, requesting to roll that funding over and have the RFP already drafted. So hopefully we'll be able to put that out soon. Climate Corps Fellow, Dolores, we believe we have separate funding for a full-time analyst position in that second year fiscal year budget, so we may not actually need that Climate Corps fellow. We're working through that right now. The city tree management plan, we're going to request to roll over the funds. and double up so that we can keep on top of that 3-year plan on the management plan side that was just approved. Implementing the dark sky ordinance on city lighting. That's essentially 15 years from adoption of the ordinance to get our facilities into compliance. So once we complete that assessment, we're hoping that we can potentially double up the work that actually gets implemented next year. Invasive species regulation, again, we have a lot of city properties with invasive species to work on, so we are requesting to roll that over and double that up. And then SB 1383, compost and mulch procurement requirements have been covered in the current and prior fiscal years by SB 1383 grants, which are coming to a close. So we do have some funding in there. So this is what is in the OSEC professional services category, which is the category that covers a lot of the big things that we move forward. And a lot of those did not move forward, but we're relaunching them or looking to relaunch all of them right now and hoping that we can just roll over the majority of those funds into the next fiscal year. And then there's a little comment down there at the end. The consultants through the county RICAPS program that do our greenhouse gas emissions inventories every other year have brought up a new data source, something called Replica, that would provide more accurate transportation data that we could incorporate. And so we're looking at adding that into our emissions inventories. There would be a small cost for us to do it the first time and backwards so that we have consistency among previous inventories. But it does sound like the county RICAPS program is hoping to be able to incorporate that in the future. So that's another thing that we are looking at from a budget perspective on the staff side. So just kind of wanted to let you guys know what was happening with some of those big projects that we've talked about in the past.
Were there any budget items that we lost, that we didn't get to? Okay, good.
I don't think so. And it doesn't sound like we will lose these funds, but whether they're going to let us double up on some of these categories in the next fiscal year, I'm less certain about that. But at this point in time, we haven't lost any funds.
Okay. And this doesn't include our habitat management money.
No, I just pulled out this category of the budget because this is the one where most of the work didn't proceed, whereas most of the other categories, the work did proceed, more or less as usual. The acres vegetation management, the, 4 habitat restoration events, work with Touchstone IQ for the building efficiency program. All of those other pieces did move forward as expected under the budget. So this is really the section of the budget that varies significantly from what we originally planned.
So do we vote yes on this, or are you just telling us?
This is just an informational item. There's just giving you guys an update. As I came back, one of the first things I did was go, where are we at? How much money have we spent? What do I need to spend before the end of the fiscal year? Can I roll this over?
You should have seen the giveaway items at Day in the Park. Kidding.
That's what that was. This is just an informational update so that you guys kind of had an understanding of on top of all the other things going on, trying to get some of these balls rolling again as well.
Okay. I just have a quick question.
Sure.
Just because I'm still catching up.
Oh, of course.
City tree management plan, is that the maintenance and the work itself, or is that just the development of the plan?
That is the implementation of the maintenance work that was identified as being the first 3 years of tree removals, crown cleanings. If you saw the presentation that we had last week at City Council, it's about $510,000 over 3 years. That's what that's referring to. So the project to create that plan, that was in prior fiscal
was
year.
already
That's
taken
done.
care of.
Yep,
All right,
that's
so we're
already done
actually
and spent. Yes.
We're implementing now. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, any other questions on that front?
I'm just curious about the replica. Do we know what that is? Is it a paid API or we're not even, we don't have that level of context yet?
My understanding is that it's more like cell phone data transportation model. What we've had in the past is transportation modeling from the Metropolitan Transportation Commissioning on vehicle miles traveled. And this is a data source that is actually like pulling cell phone location data.
Tolls, credit cards.
Yeah,
Things like
so a more should be a more robust data source, a more accurate data source in terms of transportation data. That
More along sort of tracking VMT versus registrations or something like that.
I don't know a
Yeah,
whole lot about
okay.
the details of whether it's tied how it's tied to registration or if it's just the way our transportation emissions data is calculated is the origin destination methodology. So if somebody starts or ends a trip in Brisbane, that is attributed to us. If somebody is passing through Brisbane on Highway 101, those emissions are not attributed to us. So I'm assuming it's using location data to look at those trips. I don't know if it's actually tied to like vehicle registrations because that's not, your vehicle doesn't have to be registered in Brisbane for you to be coming to or from Brisbane and those emissions to be partially attributed to here.
Sure, makes sense. It may actually be a more accurate data source than, yeah.
Yeah, we think so. The consultants that do the inventories for the countywide program brought it to us as we expect this to be a more accurate data source that, didn't used to be available and now we potentially have access to.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, look forward to hearing more about that.
Yeah.
What is the invasive species regulation?
That is, the city has adopted a invasive species regulation. What are there, about a dozen maybe species on the regulation list that property owners need to either remove from their property entirely, not plant, remove from near the edges of their property in some cases. So we have invasive species on city properties, so we need to deal with them. I don't know if ice plant is actually on our list. We really focused on prioritizing the ones on.
It actually is on our list.
Is it? Okay.
Yes.
I didn't. It's been a long time since I looked at
Yes,
the list.
because I had a really long conversation with a person about it. Yeah, it's on our list.
So can we use that for the harbor master area?
We need you to speak into the microphone and at public comment time. If you want to make a comment, you should call on, the chair can call you up to the podium, but
Well, it can, if you can keep it brief, that needs to be okay.
Can we use the funds to remove ice plant from the harbor master office area? Is that, who would I apply to, or would I just ask the harbor master to?
no.
I think it's potentially a good idea, probably the kind of thing that you'd want to discuss on the subcommittee
The
that we
public
Yeah.
put together, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
because one of our most concerning things right now is to get rid of the ivy that's killing the trees.
Ivy,
Yeah,
that's your
it's-
priority.
It is a big priority because it is killing our mature trees.
Would Moz be an appropriate person to be talking to about that?
I'm not sure. No, I don't think he even knows about the invasive species regulation on city properties.
I have spoken with him about it briefly, and we are still, sustainability used to be in the Public Works Department, and it is no longer in the Public Works Department. We are in the City Manager's Department now.
Moving up in the world, girl.
You didn't know that?
Yeah, I did know that, actually.
Yeah, I left, and then my bosses left, and they moved me to a new department, and I got an office. Came back, and it's like a whole new job. I spoke with Maz about some of these projects. Maz and Christina Fernandez, the assistant city manager, who is my boss now, and we are still working through kind of ownership of some of these things that used to be projects led by me within Public Works, where Public Works had a component. Some of them will be initiated by me. Some of them will be implemented by Public Works. Some of them are still in a little bit of a gray area. So,
I'll follow up in the email with you later.
sure.
Good night, Jordan.
Okay, well, thank you for that context. That's great. So should we move on to staff updates?
Sure, and I'm going to just go ahead and give mine because I'm on a roll. I think probably most of you already know, and it's already been somewhat alluded to, but we had the council presentation on the tree inventory hub management plan and canopy goal recommendation last Thursday. It went really well, and the council did approve our recommendation for a tree canopy goal of 23% by 2040. That represents a 10% improvement over the last data that we had available in 2022. So that was very exciting. I am hoping that kind of as a next step that we're going to schedule a OSEC trees subcommittee meeting with relevant staff besides for just me, because we have a lot of, Public Works, GIS, myself, a lot of different players involved in various aspects of moving things forward from here. So that's what I'm going to be trying to coordinate as a next step with that.
Okay.
Pool electrification ribbon cutting is coming up on June 9th at 2:30. Hope to see some of you there. It's super exciting. For me, I was trying to work on some remarks this afternoon, and I was like, oh yeah, when did we actually first? We've been working on this for, it feels like forever.
Like 4 years.
And I went
Maybe
back
5.
and looked, and actually there
It's
are
6, isn't it?
origins of this project that go all the way back to 2018. Yeah. Mostly it didn't start work until late 2021, but there are some origins of this project that go all the way back to 2018. So I, for one, am super excited for this project to have its ribbon cutting finally.
I'd like to report today and yesterday the pool was a nice, even 80 degrees.
So glad to hear it.
Now, if you could just stop the wind from blowing that much sometimes. Yesterday was awful, but today was great.
Yeah, for my next project. Yeah, come back to me in 8 years.
Maybe you could block the wind with some, energy generation.
How many electrification puns have you worked into your remarks?
Not nearly enough.
Not nearly enough. Well, we gotta work on that. Yes.
I have a lot of thank yous right now, but Christina and I met today with PG&E, a new project manager for their EV fleet program. So that is yet another project. Was not on your budget because we are not expecting to expend city funds on it, but yet another project that we are looking to get restarted is the Courtyard EV charging project that will support our Public Works fleet electrification. So we have a contract with PG&E, and we have funding from both them and Peninsula Clean Energy, and I'm hoping that that is still going to be enough to cover what that project cost is. I'm not sure how costs might have escalated or changed since then, but we'll be getting that project moving again very soon.
Can I ask a question about that, Adrian?
Uh-huh.
Is it going to be where the current courtyard is?
Yes.
I'm concerned about the electrification there and sea level rise, because that is at a low spot.
We are only putting in infrastructure that is fits on our existing utility service. So we're not going for long term. We're going for short and medium term.
So that's just charging infrastructure, that one?
Just charging infrastructure for our public works vehicles. So it wouldn't be public charging. It would just be a few chargers so that we can continue to electrify our fleet. And some of that funding is related to us promising to electrify a certain number of public works vehicles. So I believe it's 9 vehicles, either 7 or 9 vehicles by 2030.
Are they able to use the charging stations at the Park and Ride too? And the ones at Mission Blue? Because Mission Blue's underutilized.
They could, but Public Works wants to keep their vehicles secure overnight.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So, yes, I asked that question.
So is that, is the vehicle electrification actually sort of midstream at this point, or is this sort of preemptive?
We have one Ford F-150 Lightning that was purchased in 2025.
Very cool.
And we had originally planned to have 2 vehicles purchased in 2026. So we're, trying to figure out if that, where we are with that. And then I think 2027 was maybe a gap and more in 2028, 29. But that is in our plan.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, great to hear about that.
We also, and this is something that Dolores helped connect the county sustainability folks with our community development department several months back. And we are participating in a pilot project to simplify the permitting process for heat pump water heaters. So our community development department has already started to engage with the folks at the county who are working on that, and they pulled me into a meeting that happened last week, but it's underway and mostly in the hands of the building official and the community development department, permitting staff in terms of what we can do to try to streamline and kind of make more consistent with other jurisdictions in the region so that it's easier to do a heat pump water heater project. And then the last thing on my list is the California Public Utilities Commission has a proceeding underway called SB 1221, which is the Priority Neighborhood Decarbonization Zones. This came to my attention about 2 days before a comment deadline, and we looked into it a little bit. There are maps where PG&E has, or it's more of a spreadsheet, I guess, really, a list basically where PG&E identified jurisdictions that have planned gas segments slated for replacement in coming years. And the whole kind of premise of the program, state legislation requires or allows for up to 30 pilot projects across the state by 2030 to work on instead of doing gas pipeline replacements, utilizing those funds that would go into gas pipeline replacements to instead electrify a whole area or neighborhood at one time. So basically this comment deadline was an opportunity for us to say, hey, we've got some pipelines that look like they might be due for replacement and we'd be interested in being considered. And maybe nothing will come of it, but wanted to let you know we did go ahead and raise our hand to say, yes, that is something we would be interested in considering.
That's very cool. I think I just heard about that on Volts recently.
Oh,
and
maybe.
Yeah, was going, we should do that. That sounds great. So that's fantastic to hear, yeah.
Yeah, I will say, in terms of how they are prioritizing, I think it's maybe not super likely that we will get selected, but it didn't seem like, you know, it seemed like we should go ahead and express some interest and see if it goes anywhere.
Absolutely. Raise the hand, see how it goes.
Yeah.
I have an announcement that I'm going to kind of pass the buck on to Michelle, and as an update on the David Schooley subcommittee meeting that was on the 20th of this month.
Yes, we had a subcommittee meeting, and I gave the subcommittee the information that David Schooley had shared with me, because you all assigned me to go and talk with him. And my little assignment is to kind of write a brief thing about David Schooley and get that back to the subcommittee so we can get a cost estimate on the monument. We're working on where exactly we can place it. That would be good for both the monument and for that it's city property, or do we have to get permission from Fish and Wildlife to put it at when we all are kind of agreed that it should go as close as possible to the base of Buckeye Canyon. I have my first line written. You guys want to hear it? Many people would tell you that David Schooley saved San Bruno Mountain, but if you ask David, he would tell you that the mountain saved him. That's my first line. Okay, but the rest of it I have to work on. So, did I cover it, Dolores? Okay.
Quick note, if you need help with placement, let me know. I do jurisdictional delineations and determine when regulatory permits are required. So if you're trying to dance that line of where in the canyon you can place, let me know, and I'm happy to take a look.
Oh, do you mean like you know where the
Ordinary high water mark, top of bank, all that fun stuff that usually
Like,
triggers a permit.
this is ours and that's yours?
Yeah.
Okay, note that, Dolores. We have now an expert in that area on OSEC, because we're going to need that. If yeah, I think who was it that was looking into that? Poor Molly, or was it? But now it's going to
I
be.
think it was Molly.
But now it's going to be you, because Molly doesn't work for OSEC anymore.
That's true, and that is a good note. I will take note of that. Molly sent me a list of notes from the meeting. I do want to mention in the notes that there's going to be a poem and a couple of drawings to be engraved into the boulder on San Bruno Mountain, which is pretty exciting. And the budget is absorbed by the city manager's office, so the project is rolling and moving forward.
Yeah, I read the poem at the meeting and showed the pictures that David had drawn. So,
Yeah, the goal is to debut it in July for David's birthday,
which is July 28th.
July 28th, and he'll be turning 82
83.
or 83. Yes, it says 82 or 83 here in my notes.
Yeah.
83. So that'll be an exciting thing to look forward to. The next thing I have, which is a small thing, a couple meetings ago, we talked about the possibility of one of you writing a piece for the Star about the monarchs. And our next education and outreach library display is going to be coming up in July. So if someone wanted to coincide that with a display, this might be a good time to start thinking about if you wanted to write the piece. And a nice time to like pump it out would probably be simultaneous with a display, if that is still the route you all want to take. Just something to chew on. I don't need an answer right away.
Maybe we should get Ariel to write it. He's really good at that. Can always ask for a guest writer.
Sorry, I think that
Okay,
does it for
so-
us.
Should we move on to subcommittees, or we all done? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, our favorite.
Alrighty, so guess should we just start with updates? Anybody had any?
Yeah, I think that's let's start with updates and then let's do the reorganization at the end, if that sounds okay to everybody.
We're going to reorganize the committees again.
So the intention of putting this on here was so that Hannah, if she's ready, can jump in. We can have up to 3 members on a subcommittee if there's anything that Hannah is interested in that is already quote unquote full. That's something that we can consider if folks have things that they are willing to or are interested in dropping off of. And then obviously the ad hoc Baylands comment subcommittee that will need to be working between now and the next OSEC meeting.
And are we going to do the ad hoc committee for?
Yes, for Jordan's sea level rise project. We didn't have that on our, we didn't put it on our list because we didn't quite have that on our radar, but we will certainly add it in.
Well, you heard the one on the ad hoc David Scully Monument, so that's my report. And the tree issues we're all really aware of because that's been a hot item. And I think it's great to put Hannah on there because I heard your interview when you interviewed for OSEC because it's a public meeting. And I'm like so excited to have you on that. Yeah.
Yes, Hannah, I hope it's okay that Dolores and I decided to, the ones we talked about when we did your orientation, we just went ahead and put your name on them.
All good. No, I'm all for it. Yeah, tree issues, happy to be there. Invasive species as needed. I would also express interest for the new one that was generated. I do in my job a lot of habitat restoration. This is totally up in our alley and one of my passion projects. So happy to do it. Yeah.
Excellent. I love that. And you will enjoy working with Jordan. And he'll, maybe if you're really good, he'll give you fish. Yeah.
Not sandwiches.
No,
No,
he,
no.
just so you know, Jordan's background is he owns Royal Hawaiian Seafood. It's a sustainable seafood, wholesale sustainable seafood company that's very highly rated. He serves most of the really high-end restaurants in the city.
He's got the good stuff.
He's got the good stuff.
Very cool.
And given the quick turnaround time on the FEIR, are we interested in doing comments as a group, or would you prefer to do individual comments?
Yeah, well, I mean, kind of what I was thinking was, we really only have 3 weeks until our next meeting, but then we have to have it by, you said the 11th, was it? So
At the Friday.
not even 3 weeks. So I mean, sort of how I was thinking about it was we'll have an opportunity to, comment individually if we want to, of course, still, but this is sort of our time to pull, comments as a group together if we're going to do it. So
I'll be honest, I haven't even looked at it other than noticing certain errors. And I don't know if I can get anything done by then. I'm pretty booked up right now.
it's a lot. It is a lot. Thankfully there are a few sections that I think are probably key, and if we can share with the rest of the subcommittee, I think the cheat sheet that I put together, sort of some places to start, anyway.
Do we have that? Do we?
He sent it after we had already published the agenda.
Right. That's my fault.
It was sent to staff, but we already had published the agenda. So it's something that the subcommittee, he's already started and the subcommittee can use, but I don't think we could necessarily share it with everyone right now.
Okay.
There's some,
Never
Sorry,
mind,
go
go ahead. Sorry, no, go ahead.
now I've forgotten what I was going to say. Sorry, go ahead, Aaron.
I was going to suggest something more on the line of process. A number of us read the EIR, and so I feel like it would be useful for each of us to go through the chapters we read and just make sure that our comments were addressed. Same with the specific plan. The thing is that there are people who read sections who are no longer on committee.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just want to make sure that even if we do this as private citizens, that, we don't drop a chapter just because somebody isn't in OSEC anymore.
Right.
So that's my concern. So I guess what I'm hoping is maybe as public citizens, we can reach out to each other one at a time and say, I'm reading these chapters, which ones are you reading? And then maybe reach out to people who are no longer in OSEC and see if they're planning on reading the chapters that were important to them.
I
Or
think that is,
red line.
I think that is something that your staff could potentially help you with. So
good.
if I believe we should have the list still of who read what chapters. So we can look at that list, see where there are going to be gap chapters that were assigned to people who are no longer on the committee,
Or didn't get to them.
and we can send that out to all of you, and see if we have anyone who wants to take those on, or perhaps those are areas for the subcommittee to look at more closely. So I would suggest that is one way that you could do it, and it could be done similarly to what happened with your draft EIR comments, where you look at chapters individually, send your comments to staff, and we just combine them into one document to post. But that, kind of, it might be a little messier than a subcommittee kind of taking it on. And I don't think that we could have individuals sending us comments and then us giving them to the subcommittee.
I mean, I think this time around, there may just not be logistically enough time to.
I will
do
say
that, right?
that I don't, there will still be council hearings in the fall. So, this is an opportunity for you to get them in front of the Planning Commission and for them to be heard, and the Planning Commission to take them into consideration with whatever they move forward. But there will be still that council opportunity, that there will be more time. So
Okay, so this isn't the end of the line.
we're not at the end of the line.
Good, okay. I remember what I was going to say. Just wanted to say that if we're doing the chapter by chapter thing, there are the red line versions, so we should be able to pretty easily, pick up the chapter that we looked at previously and say, well, okay, all this stuff has been deleted, all right. And these are the parts that are left, or these are the parts that have been updated, right? It should be an easy way to scan.
Is there a green line edition that shows where they've answered the questions that we asked?
So that was the other thing I wanted to bring up. There is actually a part of the new document that is explicitly answers to the questions that came
That's
from
what I'm more concerned
everywhere.
about.
So then there is a section dedicated to OSEC
Mm-hmm.
comments specifically. So that's maybe a good place to start.
Yep.
I don't know if you have that top of mind, but I think I actually have that pulled up somewhere. I can send out the page numbers later. If
That would
folks
be
wanna-
really helpful, because I just looked at it and went cross-eyed and just went,
Yeah.
I think it would be best if that came from staff, so that
Okay.
we'll send out page references and who the individual chapter assignments were. And if you want to get us comments for those individual sections, and then still have a subcommittee working from one angle, we'll take the subcommittee, we'll take the individual, we'll combine it into one. Might be a little messy because of the short timeline, but we'll still be able to get you something. I think we'll still be able to get you something that you can consider at your June 17th meeting and then submit. Are there other folks that feel you have the bandwidth to sign up for the subcommittee?
not me. I still want to read through the entire open space element, which June 18th, the council's voting to accept. I just want to make sure that it's,
Yeah, I mean, on that, I think it's just really tight for everybody. I think that's sort of, universal. So, as much as anyone is able to get through and, has the appetite to to comment on, I think is helpful. Yeah, I mean, I would just hate it. What I was hoping to avoid is just us missing the whole thing entirely and getting mad about it later,
Yeah.
right? You know, at least this way we give ourselves the opportunity to review and comment.
Yeah, I won't have time to make group comments, but I would have time to make individual ones before the plenary meeting, I think. My question, the EIR, I mean, if they miss something, that's one thing, but it's not really legally binding, right? Does that mean we should put more energy into the specific plan?
I was thinking the same thing too. Like, we've got these two documents, but in the end, what is really going to be approved by the city council? What is it, the specific plan that they're going to approve some aspects of it and disapprove some aspects of it? Because the EIR is just EIR. It says something and it's either resolved or not resolved, but it hangs out in the air. Ultimately, what the rubber that hits the road is the specific plan, I would think, right?
Also, to my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, is typically in an EIR, we have mitigation measures, and that's actually what's legally binding. So once that's adopted by city council, those mitigation measures pertaining to whatever particular topic or EIR section it's in, that's what you have to adhere to. So whether it be energy, whether it be biological resources, that's actually, the specific plan is actually more of a programmatic approach, whereas the EIR is project specific. Sorry, this mic, I'm struggling. The EIR is project specific, and that's where you're gonna be seeing those measures where the rubber hits the road. So that's actually something that I personally would pay closer attention to when reviewing.
So maybe that answers Erin's and my question, basically, which one is that we should really focus and that make sure that if there's something in the EIR that's not in the specific plan, then we can say, hey, the specific plan contradicts the EIR now. Right? I mean, there could be contradictions, right?
They shouldn't. They really should have policies that, like we were saying earlier, it's a little funky that they're coming out concurrently. But really, if it's done correctly, a specific plan should have policies that then guide the EIR analysis. And that's what those mitigations then tier off of. So unfortunately, you kind of have to look at both if you're trying to be comprehensive. But yeah, if you're talking about the Baylands project specifically, it's probably going to be those EIR mitigation measures.
The hard part, Hannah, is that, in my opinion, the specific plan didn't really match the specific plan EIR.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah. Like where they had put stuff
Yeah.
in the specific plan really
The way it was
doesn't
organized, yeah.
match where it is in the draft specific plan EIR. We had a program EIR 6 years ago that was like thousands of pages that we went through, and everything that, a lot of the things that we said at that time, they're like, oh, that'll be addressed in the specific plan EIR. And then the specific plan was done by BDI, and the specific plan EIR was done by the city. And every time I've brought this up, BDI says, well, that's their document. This is our document. And I'm sorry, but the two are not in sync. And this is a huge issue that I don't know how to deal with.
We'll have to have a closer look at it this time. I haven't taken as close a look at the,
I just want to say, guys, we are veering into territory that makes me a little bit uncomfortable because this is not an agendized topic. So I think we need to stick to the process of how the committee is going to proceed with your next round of comments and leave it at that.
fair enough.
Sorry.
Okay,
Okay.
so who's on this thing? I'm on it.
I'm not.
Who else wants to be?
Hannah, it'd be great if you were.
I can help. Yes, I can. I will say there are topics that I'm probably not qualified to look at, but I'm happy to supplement and read and provide input wherever y'all need. I read the draft EIR for fun, so
Great, well, there you go.
some light reading. Yeah, so feel free to add me. I can help.
Aaron, I saw you come off mute.
Yeah, I'm actually confused. I don't have time to be on a subcommittee, but I intend to make my own private comments on the chapters that I've already read, just to, look at the red line and make sure that they addressed everything sufficiently. Does that mean I should be on the subcommittee or I shouldn't be on the subcommittee?
I mean, at this point, honestly, I think anybody that's got any amount of bandwidth over the next 2.5 weeks-ish should probably to throw in if they can.
Yeah, there's rules about how many people can be on.
We can have up to 3 members on a subcommittee. So if there are not, I'm not going to throw Jason on a committee like this when he's not here.
Right.
So I'm not seeing other hands go up. So if you want to join the subcommittee, you can. I will still say that if individuals want to review your sections outside of the subcommittee's work and send them to staff separately, we'll take what we get from the subcommittee. We'll take anything else that comes from OSEC members and package it up to be on your next agenda. And that does not preclude any of you, whether on the subcommittee or not on the subcommittee, from going independently to the Planning Commission hearing and making public comments as an individual community member.
Right.
Clear as mud. Yeah.
Yep. So do it, Aaron. It's
Okay, I'll do it. I might not be able to help at all before the 11th or 12th deadline, but I intend to do the work and get it before the Planning Commission meeting. So we'll see.
So the Planning Commission is approving the specific plan, correct?
The Planning
not
Commission is
yet.
having a hearing
A hearing, okay,
on the specific plan and EIR.
Right, both of them, yeah.
both, okay.
They're
And-
having workshops and then a hearing.
Yeah, workshop tomorrow.
Have we identified like priority sections that we may want to review? Like if I'm diving into this, is there like a maybe we can develop? I think we were talking about circulating a list of sections that other folks maybe have reviewed, and yeah, if maybe folks can give me kind of like their thoughts on priorities, I can kind of, we'll say, narrow it down from there.
Yeah, I think the answer is yes, but yeah, we should discuss separately, I
Yeah.
think, yeah.
We'll
That's actually a
coordinate.
great point. When staff provides us the list of who read what section before, can you also provide the list of aggregated questions? Because that will help Hannah and Jason, who I think weren't on the committee when we submitted all of that feedback.
Yeah.
Should
Plus,
the-
there were chapters I didn't get to, didn't finish.
Do we know if the document has a response to comment section?
Yes.
Absolutely
It does.
does.
Oh,
yes.
so that's all I need.
Yeah.
And I can find it, no problem.
Yep. It's on the city website and there's, I think, like 5 volumes or something.
Yeah, and-
something,
oh.
but there's very clearly, I think it's the final 2 volumes have the responses to
RTC doc?
questions.
Perfect.
And
Yeah,
OSEC
because
has
that's
its
where
own
we,
section, yeah.
and that's where I can get some context, because that's where they should if they do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the question and the response, and if and when it was, addressed in text.
Absolutely.
I'm so sorry, just to go back to the, we haven't made a name for it yet, but the subcommittee about the Marina Green project, Marina Gardens project. I think only Hannah was going to be on it. Does someone else want to join that for the
I
moment?
think we should call it shoreline restoration.
Shoreline restoration. Thank you,
But I'm
Erin.
open to other ideas. And in the background, I texted Jason and he's interested. So maybe we could ask him at the next meeting that he's at.
Okay. I'll stick with just Hannah for the moment then. Just want to double check.
I mean, if he's telling us he's interested, I think and we don't have multiple other members, I think we can tentatively put him on there. And then if he says no, then we revisit again next meeting. But
And I'll show him the text thread where he said he's interested. So yeah, put him on there.
Will do. Thanks, Erin.
I would go off of frog habitat and go on that. If Mary wouldn't kill me.
fine with me. I'm waiting for Mary to come.
I don't even know
We can't hear you on the mic, Mary.
I was going to ask for an update where we stand on whether or not we could go back to doing maintenance on the habitat.
So my understanding is that there was a meeting on site at the Frog Pond. I'm not sure if that happened before your last meeting, if you guys got that update. It was after, okay. A meeting between folks from the city and the property owner,
Yep.
and there are lawyers involved,
Yeah.
and it is, I believe at this point in time, in the realm of the legal teams. So that's kind of what I know at this point in time was the update.
Do you know what the ETA is?
I
mean, are we
did
close?
not
I don't-
get an ETA.
What is the,
No.
I don't understand what the deal is. Don't we know what the property line is as as a city?
Bob went along to the meeting with the maps. So
Okay.
yes, we know where property lines
Yeah.
are. I have not been involved. So that's literally as
Yeah,
much as I
okay.
know is basically
Okay.
it is in the legal realm
Okay.
at this point. Okay, so we had Hannah, Michelle, and Jason on the shoreline subcommittee. Is that what we are calling it?
Restoration.
We had Aaron, Hannah, and Anthony on the Baylands FEIR and a specific plan comments subcommittee. We had Michelle coming off of the frog habitat subcommittee. We've added Hannah to tree issues and invasive species. Were there other changes needed to any of the other subcommittees while we are on that?
Yeah, we need another person on the events. Because Day in the Park's coming up.
We're going to have Day in the Park planning to do sooner than later.
Did some fun.
Let me text Jason.
I'm going to just say, if you are on a subcommittee that has an update that we haven't already discussed tonight, let's hear it.
If you're on a subcommittee that we haven't.
Do we need to
already-
go line by line? I was hoping we
No,
didn't. Need to go line by
I
line.
was actually going to go back to the previous comment. I think I need to get off of this climate action subcommittee. This is my year to not overextend myself in OSEC, and I feel like the reading of the plans is probably close to my capacity. I hate to say that and leave you guys with that.
Fair enough, but we're going to probably start having lots of fun at that subcommittee later this year.
Yeah, a lot of new ideation and stuff coming up.
You can always rejoin it, Aaron.
Yeah, we'll have you back anytime.
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, did anybody else have any meetings or?
Anthony and Mary, I will be reaching out to you about scheduling the library display and any other outreach you'd want to do in regards to your dark skies or anything like that, probably in the next couple weeks here. So just keep an eye out for that email.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm still a little unclear on Sierra Point Park planning because I did go to a meeting and I felt like I was actually they're like, what are you doing here? So we might want to just clarify what that is. and so I
Interesting.
understand it better.
I didn't realize that wasn't. It's on the inactive list. I didn't realize it was.
Well,
It was active?
Inactive list now, but But
Okay.
I've been an observer at all of the Parcel R meetings, so
Got it.
yeah. Okay.
So do we?
Move on.
Yeah, do we move on? We have done with subcommittee stuff. Okay, so let's move on to calendar items. What have we got?
I was just going to note on calendar items, one of the projects that has happened but you haven't heard about is the Acres Vegetation Management. So those contractors did the work many months ago by the sounds of it, but did not ever come present to you. The letter is written and we approve. Submit. Then we keep it on the agenda. But if you feel like there might be significant discussion about the Baylands, we may want to consider pushing that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about everybody else, but I think postponing might be a good idea, just given the amount of discussion that almost tried to happen here with almost no context. I sort of anticipate more discussion next
I'll
time.
see if we can go ahead and move them back to July. And I don't know if there's, we talked about habitat restoration. Not sure if there's anything else on here that we need to cover. Any questions?
No, I do have another compost day scheduled for next week. They were anxiously awaiting compost from what Jeremy has heard. So I got that scheduled in for everyone here in Brisbane.
Day in the park, our giveaway will be each person gets 1 bucket of compost.
Just hand out cups.
It's right up there with mushroom coffee.
Maybe with little tree saplings in them.
That's nice,
Go
yeah.
plant this in your yard. All right.
Okay, then moving on to chair and committee member members, matters. Do we have any? Anything in particular, anybody? Any matters?
No, look at that. Wow, Hannah, look, your picture's up there now.
Such a good-looking group.
Yep.
Yep. All right, well.
Do Molly and Christina get to stay on there for a little while, or?
You
We're
know,
keeping them.
she asked, and I was like, the more the merrier. Just leave them up there. Why not?
Because, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, you remove
Okay.
too many people, it breaks the grid. You got to rethink the whole layout. That's no good. You don't want that.
I do have one request, and it's my Ludditeness. But when you send those like calendar update things, and it has the time and the, that kind of thing, could you put the date on there too?
The calendar update, like the invitations?
Yeah, but put it in the subject line.
Well, they're recurring meetings, so
I
there's
know,
not
but it was
a-
really confusing this week because it was canceled and then back in, and
that should be settled. But if we put the date in it, then it's not we
no,
can't do that
just
for a
put it in the
recurring.
subject line of the email. Oh, you can't do that.
It's not an email. It's a calendar
I know, but
item.
it came. The calendar item came in an email format.
That's an automated thing. We don't control that.
Oh God.
We gotta talk to who? Tim Cook? Maybe get him in the horn.
Outlook.
Microsoft. Jeez.
It's an Outlook calendar thing. I know when we change them, there's too many emails. Sorry. Hopefully that's a one-time back to typical staff transition, and hopefully it won't be something that has to happen too much more.
Well, Adrian, I'd just like to say that we're really glad you were back. But damn, 8:45? No kidding. It's not your fault.
It was a messy first meeting back, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But we
Hopefully,
are really, really, really grateful that you're back.
and hopefully we'll have a little bit smoother as we go forward.
Yeah, and Dolores, we're
And
really,
faster.
really glad you're still here. She did a really good job while you were
I
gone.
know.
Really good.
I know.
She rocked it.
All right, so next meeting, June 17th. Don't forget, we've moved it up, so make sure you're here.
Yep.
And
Special meeting.
yeah, exciting stuff.
Bye, Erin.
Bye, everybody. Hope to see you soon.
All right,
Bye.
bye guys. And with that, meeting adjourned.
Boom.